Hello guys, Golden Knight 27 here, doing a deck profile for Buster Blader Fusion. So I'm going to go ahead and get started very shortly, but one thing I do want to explain about this deck, this is a deck that it just took me a little while to really get comfortable with. I play tested, tried different things, I got frustrated a lot with it, but I finally have a build now that works. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started, okay? So, as far as the Buster Blader monsters, I run 2 of the regular Buster Blader and 1 of the new Buster Blader, the Destruction Swordsman. So what makes this one different than the regular one? This one actually doesn't gain attack points for dragons. So essentially the way that it works is when a monster is destroyed by a battle or card effect on your opponent's side of the field, you can target one of those monsters, you equip it to this card, and then once per turn you can detach one monster that is equipped to it and destroy all monsters that your opponent controls who are the same type. So it's not great, that's why I only run 1 of it. So I run 1 just simply because it's new and it's a new Buster Blader card, but the originals still have their effects. 500 attack for every dragon in your graveyard, well, your opponent's graveyard or their field. Alright. With this particular build, I know most people are running it mainly just for the newer fusion for Buster Blader. I also still like the Dark Paladin fusion, so I'm going to run 2 Dark Magician as well, just because I still like to have that option out there, just because Dark Paladin can negate a spell activation, and the new one does not do that. So still running 2 Dark Magicians. Next, 3 Skilled White Magicians. If you play Buster Blader at all, or you're familiar with Buster Blader, you just know if this hits 3 spell counters on it, you automatically get a Buster Blader. Another 3 of that I run in this deck is going to be a Buster Whelp, Destruction Swordsman. Buster Whelp is honestly the best of the new support monsters for Buster Blader, just because this one can special summon Buster Blader from your hand, or if it's in the graveyard, you can, like when this is in the graveyard and you control Buster Blader, you can discard it. Well, you can discard another Destruction Sword to special summon this card. So essentially you can instantly make the synchro monster. Another one that I like to run, Elemental Hero Prisma. I run 2 of these. 3, may happen, but at 2 it works. Basically, so then you can reveal a extra deck monster, a fusion monster, and then this card becomes the name of one of the materials. You send that material to the graveyard, this becomes that name. So if you named it Dark Magician or Buster Blader, cards that affect Dark Magician or Buster Blader, you could be able to use it for this guy. And plus, it's a quick way to get those monsters into the graveyard, so then you can see them sooner. I only run 1 of the Robot Buster, just because it's not that great. It is level 4, which is pretty much all it's got going for it, and the ability to equip itself to Buster Blader, and your opponent's face-up like field cards, well, not field cards, but cards on the field, their spells and traps that are already on the field, they cannot be activated anymore, they don't work, and you can detach this from Buster Blader and you could give him an extra 1,000 attack and defense. The only thing that I don't like about it is it's not a dragon, it's a machine, so you can't use it for the fusion at all. Another one, Dragon Buster of the Destruction Sword. This one's a tuner just like Buster Whelp. Just one of those, mainly just as an extra 1-star tuner monster to synchro summon with Buster Blader. So running a few more 1-ofs. Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk is a card that's been in so many decks. If you don't know what it does, basically you can discard a spell card, and when you do so, you can special summon a level 4 monster from your deck. Only stipulation, that monster can't attack, but most of the time whenever you use it, you don't need it to attack. Luster Dragon, just to have another dragon on the field to fuse. Well, it doesn't have to be on the field, but in the hand or on the field, that would allow you to do the fusion summon with the new Buster Blader fusion monster. Debris Dragon, this one is one that not everybody runs, but it's a 4-star tuner. I like it. Reason being is if I don't have Buster Whelp and I don't have Buster Blader, I can use this guy and synchro summon with another level 4 monster and create the new Buster Blader synchro monster. Alexandrite Dragon, just because he's another level 4 dragon option. And then one Dodger Dragon, level 4 dragon monster. So really, I like to synchro summon very quickly, and having that 4-star Debris Dragon in there certainly helps, because the synchro monster is a level 8. So that's all that I've got for the monsters, and I will go ahead and move on to the spell cards. For my spell cards, I run 2 copies of Emblem of the Dragon Destroyer. Reason being, that allows you to add Buster Blader from the deck or graveyard to your hand, so then you can get a Buster Blader out very quickly. Or you can fetch the one that you sent to the graveyard with Elemental Hero Prisma. Next, this one, some people run 3, some people run 2. I choose to run 2. That's Destruction Swordsman Fusion. Reason being is I tried this card at 3 and it could clog the hand. There'd be times I'd get it, I didn't need it, but at 2, when I cut it down to 2, it just seems to work. Cool thing about this is it's almost like super polymerization, where you can use your opponent's monsters for fusing, but you gotta use a dragon or a well, yeah, it's got to be a dragon with Buster Blader. So not everybody runs dragons, but we'll kind of get more into how you can turn all of your opponent's monsters into dragon type monsters. So 2 of these works, and it is a quick play, so you can activate it during your opponent's turn also, instead of just your turn. Next, 2 of Karma of the Destruction Swordsman. You declare 1 monster type in your opponent's graveyard, and then you can banish 3 monsters that are of that same type from your opponent's graveyard, and then a Buster Blader monster that you control gains 500 attack and defense for each monster that you banished from your opponent's graveyard. Next, 2 Mystical Space Typhoon, just for getting rid of the back row. 1 Reinforcement of the Army. Reinforcement of the Army essentially is going to be used to get Elemental Hero Prisma out of the deck, just to speed things up a little bit. Next, one thing that I do a little bit different with this Buster Blader build that not everybody will do, is I actually play a copy of the Fang of Critias and a copy of the Claw of Hermos. Reason being is you can use them for Summoner Monk just as a spell card to discard. So if I don't have the cards that I want to make their contact fusion monsters, I can use them as graveyard fodder from the hand for Summoner Monk. But I mainly am looking to use these for the fusion monsters that they can create. So that's everything for these spells. I'll go ahead to the trap cards, and then after the traps we'll go to the extra deck. Alright, for my trap cards, I run 2 Mirror Force. The reason I run Mirror Force is because, well, I like to get rid of my opponent's field quickly. So Mirror Force will do that. This deck doesn't have super crazy amounts of powerful monsters, so this will kind of, it'll buy you time. 2 of those, don't do 3 of them just because it's going to clog your deck. You're not going to want to see Mirror Force every turn that you draw. Also, it gives you the option with the Fang of Critias to make Mirror Force Dragon, which I don't have Mirror Force Dragon in this deck just because at the price that it's at, I don't run this deck enough where I can justify it. That card right now is still like $20 or $30, and you know, this deck isn't that good that I would want to invest that money for Mirror Force Dragon. Next, Tyrant Wing. Tyrant Wing is used with the Fang of Critias to make their contact fusion monster. And also it works with dragons. It gives them an extra 400 attack and defense, and they can attack monsters twice during the during the battle phase. But as soon as you activate that effect, this card goes away. But it is an equipped trap card. Next, 2 Call of the Haunted, just to resurrect the monsters that you dump into the graveyard. You will dump monsters into your graveyard, probably more than most decks would allow for this kind of style of gameplay. So you want to be able to get them back. So yeah, everybody knows what that does. Next one, Destruction of the Sword Flash. So it reads, if you control a fusion type monster that lists Buster Blader as material, banish all monsters your opponent controls. When a card or effect is activated that targets a Buster Blader monsters you control, except during the damage step, you can banish this card from the graveyard, negate the effects, and if you do, destroy that card. So that's good. I tried that also at 3. I tried it at 2, and I don't want to see this card all the time. Because if you find yourself where you're having to activate these all the time to protect your fusion monster, you're probably losing the game, at which point just give up. Next, Bottomless Trap Hole, basically just to banish a monster that your opponent summons with 1500 attack or more. And then 1 Magic Cylinder, just because, if you guys have seen any of my other deck profiles, Magic Cylinder, I still like to use that just simply because letting you destroy yourself is always fun. So that's all I've got for the traps, and we will move on to the extra deck, which is my favorite part of the entire profile. Alright guys, for my extra deck monsters, Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman, and Buster Dragon. This guy is going to be excellent because he puts all dragon type monsters into defense position. He also does piercing damage to dragons that are in defense position, and he gains 1000 attack and defense for every dragon type monster your opponent controls or is in the graveyard. Buster Dragon is excellent. I like to get this guy out first. Reason being, he turns all your opponent's monsters into dragons, so that'll benefit you whether you've got this guy out or Buster Blader to get them some extra attack points. And also you can bring out your Destruction Sword monster, the support monsters, and attach them to a Buster Blader monster as a quick play during your opponent's during your opponent's turn. Next, 2 Dark Paladins, just because Dark Paladin still does negate spells, which the new Buster Blader monster does not do. So it's nice to do that. It also gives you the ability to discard a card in order to do that activation. So you can get some of those monsters into the graveyard that you may need into the graveyard. Next, Tyrant Burst Dragon works with the Fang of Critias when you use Tyrant Wing, and Tyrant Burst Dragon can either be a standalone monster or an equipped monster. As a standalone monster, he has the ability to attack all monsters your opponent controls. If you equip him, then the monster that you equip him to can attack 3 times during the battle phase. Next, Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword. Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword works with the Claw of Heremos. All of the Heremos fusion monsters are going to be equipped cards, and they're all weapons of some sort. This one allows you to Equip it to a monster, that monster gains 1,000 attack, plus gains an extra 500 attack and defense for every dragon type monster that is on the field or in the graveyard. So it doesn't discriminate, doesn't have to be just your opponent's or just yours. It's going to be both. There have been times where I had this equipped to the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman and had this equipped to it. It was a weird duel on Duel Network. My opponent let it happen, and I freaking took advantage of it, of course. Next, Goddess Bow. Goddess Bow, that allows you to equip it to a monster, and while it's equipped to a monster, then you can negate the first activation that your opponent activates during the battle phase, and then also after that, the monster can make a second attack as well. Also, Time Magic Hammer, probably the best of all of the fusion monsters that work with Hermos. Reason being is this particular one, when you attack, before damage calculation even happens, so as soon as you call for the attack, the monster gets banished, and the amount of turns that the monster stays banished is going to depend on a dice roll. So between 1 and 6 turns, that monster is going to stay banished. So it's really cool. It's an amazing effect. So I love having it. I've only made it once or twice, but it's nice to have. It's nice to know that you have that. Next, because there are a lot of level 4 monsters, I do run a few of the, you know, just the basic essential rank 4 Xyz monsters. So, number 101, Silent Honor Arc, Castell, Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, 39 Utopia, of course, as you would do with any deck that runs level 4s, pretty much. Perform Pal Trapeze Magician. This is the only one that's a little bit more specific to a certain type of monster. So this one works with 2 level 4 spellcaster type monsters. And then also because there is that possibility that you might end up with 2 level 7 monsters on the field. Big Eye, just to steal your opponent's monsters. I mean, I don't know if you'd ever really have to pull this guy out, but it's just kind of nice to know that you do have him. Alright guys, so that is my deck profile. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know what suggestions and ideas that you have, things that you guys have tried in your Buster Blader decks. I'm always curious to find out, and just to let you guys know, I do plan on turning this deck into a pendulum deck at some point. I just have to figure out how I want it to work and what cards I would substitute out. Of course, I'll probably play test it on Duel Network first, and then let you guys know how that goes. Also, cards that you might want to consider running in here that I don't have in here, but you know, it just might give you guys a different style of play. The spell card 1 for 1, if you're not familiar with that, that allows you to discard a monster card in your hand in order to special summon a level 1 monster from your deck. Also, the Red Eyes Black Flare Metal Dragon, that guy, 2 level 7 monsters, does burn damage, can't be affected while it's got well, it can't be destroyed by a card effect while it's got Xyz materials. And also Mirror Force Dragon. Mirror Force Dragon, I'm not going to buy that card at the price it's at. I don't play this deck enough in real life to invest in the physical card. But it's nice to have. Mirror Force Dragon is amazing. I've never pulled one in a pack, but I'm certainly not buying one until it goes down in price. You know, if it goes down to like $10, I'll buy one, but at anything $15 or higher, it's not happening for me. But if you've got one, use it. It works well with the Fang of Critias, and as I said earlier, I've got the 2 Mirror Forces in there, just so then if I somehow manage to get one of those, I'll already have the Mirror Force built into the deck. Alright guys, be sure to like and subscribe to more content of mine. Like I said, let me know what you guys think of the deck. I certainly would like to hear what you guys have done with your Buster Blader deck, and also what you guys think of mine. And until next time, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys on the next video. Take care.